What's up, everybody? Ian Lee here. Hope you guys are doing well. So today I'm not going to be talking about an exercise, a scale, a chord progression, an arpeggio, or some magical series of notes that'll make you sound like Charlie Parker. Yes, I know what you're thinking now.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
I know. That's not exactly what you wanted to hear. But there's already so much information out there about how to achieve different sounds, styles, techniques, and don't get me wrong, I'll be going into more of that on my own on this channel in due time, and I'm really excited to get into those things. But I want to start right now with an overall concept, something that's a larger idea that can be taken into your daily practice and can really help you grow just across the board so that you can take these different little exercises, ideas, scales, etc., and get the most maximum results out of it while having fun, while cultivating a healthy mindset and relationship with your practice time and with the music that you love to study and enjoy so much. So tell me if this sounds like you.
I'm ready!
You get inspired. Maybe it was a show. Maybe it was a recording. Maybe it was a YouTube video. Maybe it was a friend of yours you saw make some great progress on their instrument. Whatever it is, you get that little spark. That's something that says, I can do this, right? You feel it in you. I can make this happen if I put the work in, if I put the time in. So you get a practice plan together, you get some ideas, you get some information, and you stack all this stuff, right? It's just like piled this high. And you create this 5-hour practice routine. You're going to run through all the scales and all the things and all the stuff, and you're going to learn all the solos, and it's going to happen, and you're going to be the next jazz giant, and it's all going to happen. It's going to be amazing. And then it just collapses. Suddenly, you're frustrated, you're tired, you're burnt out on what you're doing, and you don't know where to go next. This is where consistency comes in, and remembering that consistency is the key, right? There is this old statement of quality over quantity. Now, I'm not saying if you don't put 4 hours a day in of dedicated, focused, loving practice that you won't become a masterful player, that you won't understand your instrument in a great, deep, and meaningful way, and you won't develop those connections within yourself and outside yourself. But it's good to remember that we're all human. We all have good days, bad days, ups and downs, days that you're so busy you don't even know how you're going to fit in a little bit of practice, right? We have to remember that this is a marathon, not a race. We're on a journey. Even when you get to one goal that you've achieved, you will say, great, I have that goal down. Now, what about that goal over there? What about that one over there? What about this goal over here? You're just going to keep trekking and trucking and going for something else. And that's a great thing. That's not wrong or bad in and of itself. That's a wonderful thing. But to remember not to get caught up in the exact results of what's happening. We need consistent practice. Sometimes that consistency can just mean 5 minutes a day. It doesn't always have to be these big things. So yeah, I know. I need to get on with the point here. I am known to ramble. What I'm going to offer you are 3 points that I think can really allow you to develop consistency in your practice, and just the 3 things to keep in mind, right, as you're creating these routines, these healthy mindsets, and these new relationships, right? So the first one is to lighten the load, right? Too often we gather too much information to work on at once. And I can understand the mentality behind that. I've been guilty of it myself in the past. And the idea here is that, I think when you're in that mindset of lots of information, you think that, well, what if I miss out on something? What if I don't, get where I want to go because I'm not absorbing all of it? But that's one of the great things about music as well, is that it's constantly relating to itself, working for itself, working towards itself. You learn something really, really well over here, and then you learn about 5 other things, essentially, really well over here. And of course, as you're developing your technique on your instrument, it's going to benefit whatever you're working on over here. Your memory gets stronger, your ability to learn gets faster. So lighten the load. If you're working on 20 things, take it down to 5. The next one would be to make a plan. So, you want to give yourself, I think, at least a 2-week minimum for whatever the material is that you're working on. So let's say you have your 3 to 5 items, whatever they may be, and give yourself a little bit of time to absorb. I personally like to go for about a month these days. That's more or less. I think that's a really good amount of time to focus on the material, and of course that means that I don't necessarily practice all the things that I'm working on out of those 3 to 5 things, let's say, every day. Sometimes I hit one thing for an hour, and then I hit the other things for a little bit. Sometimes I hit one thing all day when I'm practicing. And that's okay. I think you also have to follow what is genuinely exciting you in a moment and not get into beating up on yourself or guilt or anything like that. The next one would be to create a minimum. So a minimum can obviously mean a lot of things, and I think even your minimums can be flexible. I'll give a great example here. I went to Folk Alliance International earlier this year, and we were in New Orleans, and needless to say, I barely slept and had quite a good time. On the last day, when we woke up, my trio Big Cedar Fever, we had to get out the door. Like the hotel was kicking everybody out to get rooms cleaned and the whole thing, and we had to drive back from New Orleans to Central Texas, which is a long drive. So by the time I got home, I didn't want to disturb the household, my household. So I pulled in. We have a long drive. I pulled in at the top of the drive. I pulled out my instruments, and I hit, I think, one of the 3 exercises. I was doing like 3 exercises on fiddle, 3 on guitar. I did one of each of those 3, so just one exercise per instrument. And then I did, each one maybe 3 times or something. It took me a total of a minute or 2 to do it. But the point for me was that I showed up and I completed what I was going for. And, I was tired. I wasn't going to come home from a long day and try to fit 2 hours of practice in and while everybody's sleeping and everything. It doesn't make sense. But I still wanted to show up and bring that consistency to the table. So again, it's not just about the physical act of practicing. It's about, again, laying a foundation for a healthy mindset and for an overall, a foundation for stronger periods of growth. So the next thing, so I guess that's actually all 3 things right there. Let me repeat those. Lighten the load, make a plan, create a minimum. That's all you really need to do. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you guys. I'm looking forward to putting out more content. If there's anything you would like to see more of or less of, please comment below. Any questions, I'd be happy to answer. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more stuff from me. And I do teach privately, so if you want to reach out to me via the comment section, I would love to work with you. It is my goal to help you curate whatever you need to curate. Wherever you're stuck, I want to help you get through that impasse. Yeah? I want to see you grow and shine. As the teachers I've had before have helped me to grow and shine and change. Music is a wonderful journey, and I want to encourage you along every step of the way. Thank you so much for tuning in. Love to you and all you strive for.